No, this is not clickbait. The title is real. I am quitting my bedside ICU nursing job. Hey guys, Kari Botana. Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of today's video, it's going to be very different, and I'm sure some of you who watch me consistently have a lot of questions already. The title is true. I'm leaving my bedside ICU nursing job. I currently work in the cardiovascular intensive care unit. I've been there for 3 years, 2 years as a certified nursing assistant, and 1 year as a registered nurse. And it is time for me to leave. Let's talk about that in the next few clips and get right into the video. And as always, right before getting into the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you're enjoying my content. And of course, I want to keep doing this YouTube channel even though things are changing. So yeah, I'm trying to decide where to exactly start. I didn't prep before this video just because I like trying to keep things raw and honest. A lot of times I do prep before making videos because a lot of my content focuses on being a resource and having valuable content for people to use and refer to, especially for nursing students, healthcare workers, and nurses specifically. A lot of times I'm used to prepping because I want to give you guys the best content and keep things short, succinct, precise, and not long and drawn out. But in this case, I'm trying to keep things a little bit more real. It is a little bit more personal, but I know that I am not the only one who shares the feelings that I'm going to share in this video. But I want to give you raw and honest truth. So with that all being said, the real reason, the number one reason why I'm leaving is because we are moving, and we're actually moving states. So my husband and I have been married for about 8 months now, and we live in Missouri. And I'm not going to give you guys details on where we're going next or where we are currently, but we will be transitioning out of the state into a new one. And the main reason is because my husband is starting a new job. And again, I don't want to get into too many details on his job because out of respect to him, wanting to keep his own privacy and details of his work and school private, I'm not going to include that here. But that is, in general, the number one reason why I'm leaving my job is due to his work changing and us moving states. So but along with that, prior to moving, we've had some tough conversations. I've had to sit down and really think about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And it has been a really tough year being a nurse because this is my first, and it's been my only year so far being a registered nurse. And it's been tough. I'm sure you guys have seen on the news, nurses, either going to trial, nurses quitting their job. The pandemic has taken a toll on all healthcare workers, and just even here on YouTube, I've seen a lot of people leave. So even though my reason isn't the same as other people's reason to leave bedside, I still have had to have kind of an honest conversation with myself and of course with my husband on, is this still the right position for me? When we leave, what else am I gonna do? Am I gonna continue to be bedside? Am I gonna continue to be ICU? Am I gonna continue to be a nurse at all? I've definitely considered doing something that maybe seems more slower paced, a little bit more chill, definitely during the day because I work nighttime, and I've had to make a lot of considerations. So some of the things that I've had to ponder about my current job, and I'm going to kind of split this up, I guess, into 2 parts in this video. I know I said I haven't prepared, and I haven't, but I'm trying to organize things in my brain as I speak to you guys to make this video understandable and not just a really long ramble. But in the first part of this video, I guess I'm going to talk to you guys a lot about what I've had to contemplate, some of the issues that I've run into as a nurse for the first year, and just some of the things that I feel like are burning me out. And then in the second part of the video, talk about a little bit of what I'm choosing next and why I'm choosing it. So just for starters, I'm currently on a night shift position, which tends to be somewhat frequent in the ICU setting, and just being a new nurse in general. A lot of new graduate resident nurses will train during either the nights or the days and have to go to nights for a specific amount of time because there aren't very many daytime ICU positions open as much as nighttime, and you can probably understand why. It's not a preferred shift or schedule, but a lot of new graduate nurses have to work nights and wait for a slot to open on days. And so I have been on nights for a long time, waiting for a long time for a daytime slot to open, and a bunch of those just open, and more experienced nurses got to go to the daytime shift, which makes sense. They've been there longer, they've been on the daytime list longer, but I'm kind of left hanging. A lot of us are actually wondering whether or not we'll go to a daytime position. So that's the first thing, and I am a morning person by heart, so working night shift can be brutal for me sometimes. And the longer I've been on night shift, the harder it's gotten for me to switch from a day to a night schedule, because there's a lot of things I can't do if I stay on a nighttime schedule. I can't get certain errands done. I can't go to the bank if I'm off on the weekend. I can't, a lot of times I'll wake up at 5 p.m. and I've got like 2 hours to go to the grocery store, and then I'm awake all night and nothing's going on. I can't really get out and get my daily dose of sunshine. So a lot of that starts to weigh heavy on me. I've also come to see that bedside is really rough, and I knew that because I was a CNA beforehand, but I feel like after COVID, a lot more of the experienced nurses are very burnt out. So I started out going into a position with experienced people around me, which is great. Sometimes you don't get that much experience, and I've been very blessed with it, but there's a lot of burnout and burnout talk, and just from people who maybe continue to do their jobs because of money, and they don't know what else they would do, but they are very burnt out people, whether they're on nights or on days. And it's because they've been at bedside for a long time, and it takes a toll on you. It's 12-hour shifts. The older you get, the more rough that can be on your body, to have to be on your feet all day long, staring at screens for long periods of time in order to chart, just taking like rude comments sometimes almost daily when you go to work. There's just seems to be lack of boundaries between healthcare workers and patients these days, a lot more entitlement. I know that I love my patients, but there's some days where it's very hard. I know I work with them when they're most vulnerable positions, and I try to have a lot of grace with them, but there are some days where people are just flat out rude, and there's no rhyme or reason why, and you step in the room without even provoking to your knowledge, and somebody's like, go get me this, go get me that. There's no pleases, no thank yous, and it can just be burning out. I mean, it's almost like customer service, and we all know how people in customer service feel, but it's to a higher extent. You're with the person for 12 hours. You're assigned to this person, and sometimes when they have a customer service attitude and you're assigned to them for 12 hours and you have to care for them, and if something goes wrong, you have to jump in and be ready and have no personal or hard feelings towards them in order to save their life. It's just a really interesting place to be in, I've come to find. So anyways, that was a bit of a ramble, but being with burnt out workers has been very hard for me to stay positive. And then being with kind of a customer service mindset, patient population is just very interesting and also tough. It can be very weighty to have to juggle both of those things, because nobody likes being in an environment where it's like all day, every day, I just want to go home. I hear comments like this all the time. I just want to go home. Why can't it be 6 a.m. already? And I say these things myself. I hate coming here. I didn't want to come to work today. I have a terrible assignment. I think I want to quit, and all this stuff over and over and over again. I don't go a single night where I don't hear at least one comment like that. And you're going to find that anywhere in the nursing workplace. anywhere, specifically in bedside. It's not just my unit, it's not just my workplace, and I don't want what I'm saying to reflect my workplace, but this is the environment out there, and you can see both on social media and in real life that a lot of people speak to the same thing. So anyways, those are some reasons why I've had to contemplate, am I going to continue to do this in my next job? And then another thing is kind of the intimidation that comes with being a ICU nurse, specifically. My first 3 months on my own, I was terrified. I'd have bad dreams that, something bad was gonna happen. It tends to be the people who worry the most that do a good job, and those who are kind of more lackadaisical on the job and don't worry, things tend to happen in that case. So it's kind of ironic that I worry a lot because I've never had any issues. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it seems to be that way for my other coworkers, and even my preceptor was honest and kind to me and said, like, she's like one of the smartest people I know and has been at bedside for so many years and is just brilliant minded, and yet even she had nightmares when she first started out and still gets nervous and anxious about certain situations to this day. And I think that makes a good nurse, but again, it can bring a toll to your mental health. It gets really hard to separate work when you come home and not bring work home with you and wonder, did I remember to chart this? Did I remember to tell the next nurse that thing and report that happened to the patient? Did I talk to the doctor properly? Did I give the family a good update? Was I the best nurse that I could be for my patient, and so on and so forth. So all of those things kind of come together, and it can make you burnt out very quickly, and I'm finding myself burnt out, unfortunately. So watching this, you might be like, well, Maddie, what's next? And at this point, I know what's next. I've had to do a lot of praying. I still feel like God has called me to be a nurse at this time, and I don't want to drop that calling simply because I don't feel like I'm strong enough to continue it. I have to rely on God to continue to do what He's called me to do, but I also know and I'm thankful that this is a transitional period, and that my husband gets to transition, because I feel like God's blessed me with a healthy soon-to-be transition, because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do being in this job long-term. I love the cardiovascular ICU. I would probably continue to do it if we were not moving. Actually, I know I would continue to do it because I don't know what else I would do, to be honest, but I think through a lot of prayer, I'm finding that I'm very thankful that I get to have this transition period, and because God has blessed me with a new job and a new opportunity that is going to be a different pace, and that's going to be during the daytime, and that's hopefully just going to be in a different environment, but I'm going to have to take that step of faith. So I had to do a lot of praying about it. And I know what the next step is, but I'm going to wait until the next video to tell you guys what job I took, and whether or not it's still in nursing. So actually, I will tell you guys, it is still going to be a nursing job, because I think I already alluded to that I feel like God wants me to be in a nursing job. So it'll still be a nursing job, but I won't say much more than that, other than I'm very excited for the new opportunity coming up. And yeah, I'm just very thankful for this transitional period. And for you guys, I still want to be here and continue to bring this type of content to you all. But burnout is a real thing right now, and if that's something that you're struggling with, I would love it if you drop a comment below and we can talk about it and have a positive community here where we can just kind of uplift each other and have our voices heard, have our concerns heard in a safe space. And I'll do my best to create this as a safe space, but I need you guys' help in order to do that. But if that's something you're struggling with, or you're a student nurse trying to decide if you want to go to bedside because you hear a bunch of negativity about how burning out it is, again, feel free to drop a comment, or send me a DM through my Instagram handle, which is in the bio below. So I would be happy to talk to you a little bit about it, or at least from my experience. I don't know everything. I only have 1 year of experience as a nurse, and yet I feel like I have something to offer to some extent. And I just don't want anybody to feel like they're alone and that they're having to handle a similar situation by themselves. So anyways, that is all for this video. I didn't want it to be a really long ramble, but I just wanted to kind of share with you all where we were at and how I was feeling with my job. I still love the critical thinking that comes with my job, and I do like the patient population. I tend to have a little bit more of a geriatric population, and I love geriatric patients with a passion. And there have been some very humbling moments for me and some very insightful moments to me, and I feel like I've learned a lot from my patients, and I've had great experiences, and I still feel like I have one of the best coworker teams I've ever had in any job, because I've worked other jobs prior to being in the healthcare system, and this has been a fantastic team. But I think healthcare and nursing as a whole, there need to be some changes made, and as we're seeing across the country and across the world, healthcare workers are burnt out, specifically nurses and doctors, and I think it is time for a change, and it's not something that we can change individually, but together we can over time. And I'm not sure how that's going to happen. I know there's some very brilliant minds out there, and we can do anything if we set our minds to it, especially as a community. But at this time, I'm thankful for this transition, because I don't know how much longer I could do being an ICU bedside nurse, because it's taking a huge toll, and I want to still be the best that I can be for my family and my friends and my spouse and my church community and my community as a whole, my local community, and even to my coworkers and patients. And it's hard for me to do that if I'm burnt out myself. So this is just a raw and honest chat with you guys and life updates. So I hope you enjoyed, and I won't ramble any longer. Love you all, and Tutu Anana. See you later.